This week on the Baseline Podcast, Josh and I are talking about both the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals. We're going to be talking about each team and how each team could come out on top. We'll also give our predictions. And then we're going to talk about some news happening in the NFL. Justin Jefferson becoming the richest non-quarterback in NFL history. All that and so much more coming up on the Baseline Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Baseline Podcast. I'm Ben, that's Josh, and we are going fishing. No, I'm kidding. He's wearing his Bass Pro Shop. I just thought it was funny. No, I hope you guys have had a phenomenal start to your June. My birthday was yesterday, Josh. As we're recording this.
I was going to wish you a happy belated birthday if you didn't mention it otherwise.
As we're recording this, because this will obviously come out in a couple days. It actually probably will come out on my brother's birthday, which is just weird. So happy birthday, Jared, whenever this comes out. But yeah, Josh, I'm getting old. I mean, I'm younger than you, but still.
Yeah, we might actually be the same age now. Are you 28 now?
I'm 28. Yes, I'm 28.
All right.
28.
It's just a few months apart.
Yes, it is. It was a good birthday though, Josh. It was. I hope you've had a good start of your June. But yeah, I did nothing, which is like what I love about my birthday. Is it weird? Is that weird though, Josh? Like I don't know. Like I got so much gripe. I got so much gripe.
The older you get, that's just what your birthday is nothing.
Yeah, but like I got so much gripe from like people at school. Like they were like, you don't celebrate, you don't have like a big party, you don't have like a big bash. And I was like, I've never had that. Like in my life, I never, like, I think we had birthday parties like every 4 years in my family. Like we would do obviously, we would go out to eat, obviously. Right. And like, we would get to choose, and we usually would go see a movie or whatever, like with just my brother and my parents. But like, I never had parties with friends. It was like every 4 years. It was kind of like the thing that we did. But I honestly just never really, like, I just enjoyed being able to do something. Like, I'm an extrovert, but I just wanted to do something away from people. Like, I just was like, I want this to be my day. Just do what I want to do. So yesterday we went out to eat, and then we came back and watched Ford versus Ferrari. A great movie, by the way, if you have not seen it. It's a phenomenal movie.
I haven't, yeah.
But yeah, that's what I did, man.
Birthdays are a big deal over in Hungary, too, just like in America.
It's like, they go like, some people go like overboard, man. Like so when I first moved to Hungary, when I was like, I turned 20, I would turn 24. I think I was turning 24. The crazy part about it is I show up to this dinner. We were just going to have dinner. It wasn't even my birthday, because Josh, if you're smart, you never go on your birthday dinner on your birthday if you don't want surprised, right? Like that's just kind of the rule. You just, at least that's what was my family, right?
Yeah, it could be all low key, whatnot.
Exactly.
But at the end, they hit you with the singing and the cake.
And the thing is, here it's like, it's epic. Like they brought, and I'll have a video I'll have to show you after we record, but we have a video of me sitting there. They bring me this big cake. It's not really a big cake, but it was a decent sized cake, and it's like a firecracker. I mean, they light the thing and it's sizzling, and it's just kind of going. And I'm sitting there, I'm like recording it for like my ministry at the time, and I was like, what is happening? And then they play this, like, the birthday song in Hungarian over the loudspeaker, and everyone's starting to clap and sing, and I'm just like, this is what is like, this is weird. I've seen it before, but I've never been a part of it. And so ever since then, it's like I've had kind of chill birthdays, and my wife's great. Like, she just kind of like, she's like, hey, what do you want to do? And I'm just like, I just want to eat something and just kind of hang out. So yeah, that's what we did. We kind of hung out and watched Ford versus Ferrari. Again, recommend it. Great movie. So yeah, that was my birthday.
Sweet, man. Yeah. My weekend was solid over here. We had some sun over here. Me and some guys went out and got some sunburn from my Saturday adventures, but was out shooting some shotguns, hitting some clays.
There you go.
Messed around with let's see, I shot at least 10, 12, I think. I can't screw the numbers up and look like a noob, but I think there's 16, 20, and 28.
Yeah,
dude. When you get me talking about, like, I love getting to go out and shoot, but when I try to talk about guns, I sound like a politician that wants to ban them. Talking about, like, you guys shoot people in the leg and calling, like, the magazine a clip, and AR-15 stands for assault rifle 15, and it's just a mess. Yeah, I'm
laughing so hard my headphones.
My terminology is not the best, but still, sunburn and all, shooting was a blast. And then on Sunday, went up and kayaked in Michigan. Yeah, with a few people.
I mean, that's about the only thing Michigan's good for, anyways.
Kayaking.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. That was a
Yeah.
bad joke.
Some small personal news too, Ben.
Oh,
People I was kayaking with was my new girlfriend and some of her friends up there.
oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Hey, shout out Susan. I don't know. She knows I have a podcast. I don't know if she'd be listening, but
Hey,
yeah.
if she's listening, how you doing? Hi. My name's Ben.
This is Ben. He lives
I
in
live in another
Hungary.
country. I live in another
Yep.
country, and we do this when it's almost midnight my time. So, yeah. Props to your boyfriend for being like a champ and doing it random times and whenever it fits my schedule.
Now that I'm on night shift, I feel like we've been much more
To be
consistent in our
honest, and
record
people don't
times.
understand this. People don't understand this. Like when we record this episode, like these episodes, when he worked at his like old time, it was a nightmare. There were some times where we would record like on a Monday, and then the next week we would record like on a Friday.
Yeah,
Like
and
it was
sometimes
just
that Monday would be in the morning, and sometimes that
yeah,
Friday would be in the evening. But now that I'm on nights, like we're recording not too long after I wake up and not too
yeah,
long before you go to bed. The window's
exactly. And
pretty good.
it's perfect, and it's also great because if anything happens in the middle of the night, we both are technically up when I get up in the morning, so it's kind of fun. It's like we can actually I get a message from you in the morning. I'm like, forgot the guy's still awake.
Yeah.
But yeah, craziness happening. Obviously, this is also we're recording this on D-Day, so we want to give our respects to those that served in World War II, especially being over here in Europe. It's a big thing. Other than the fact that our president is looking like a
Yeah.
oh,
Shout out
jeez.
my great grandfather fought in
Wow,
Pearl Harbor during World War II.
that's off.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, and honestly, Josh, I've said this to people. I haven't said this to you actually. It's more real when you're in Europe, and I didn't think I would ever
Is
say
it?
that. It feels more real, mainly because Budapest was there was like big things happened during World War II here, and you kind of hear the stories, but you like witness a lot more. Like you hear people that have experienced it from a different perspective.
Hmm.
So like that's been really cool for me, I guess, as a history guy. So,
Okay.
anyways, enough
Man,
with the history talk.
is this the
Goodness.
longest like intro
This is the
monologue on
longest.
sports
This is the
discussion we've had
literally
on this
long.
show?
I think it's because there's not much to talk about, so we're
We're
just
just trying to fill
fill
airtime.
time. It's like we're doing radio again, by the way. It's like we're doing
It is
radio
like
again.
we're
We're
doing
just,
radio. Yeah. Oh
I
boy.
just
Well,
that's a long
I know
time
this
ago.
isn't like our main topic of discussion
Yeah.
today, Ben, but I wanted to fill you in on some very interesting baseball stats right now
Oh
from
gosh,
a Cleveland perspective.
definitely not from the Reds. That's for sure.
Yeah. So StatCast has these numbers you can look at
Okay.
called ballpark factor, and they basically just
Based on the
look
ballpark.
at different metrics and determine like how much a team's ballpark affects their play, basically,
Interesting.
or their visitors or whatnot.
Hmm.
But typically, you've heard me complain about how Cleveland is not a hitter friendly team, and most
Yeah.
likely that's because they've been in a non-hitter friendly ballpark either. But this season, Ben, we have a ballpark factor of 102, which ranks 14th, so top half of the league. And then as far as home runs hit goes over Progressive Field, we are fifth right now.
Interesting. Wow.
With let me get the exact number for you. 126 home runs have been hit here already so far.
That's that's crazy. I mean, I will say though, if the Guardians played in Cincinnati, I think that offense would be on another level, to be honest with you.
You think
Like,
so?
yeah, because I think Cincinnati is just it's such a hitter friendly, especially if you're a lefty. Like I'm thinking of Jose
Okay.
Ramirez.
Adam Dunn, Ken Griffey
Oh,
Jr.,
can you imagine Jose
Joey
Ramirez in that
Votto.
park? Oh, he's hitting left-handed, dude. He's going to be crank. I mean,
Yeah,
look what De La Cruz does. I mean, he cranks them when he's left-handed.
for
So
sure.
that's what I'm thinking more of.
Yeah. Overall, Cleveland though is 13th in the league with 66 home runs. So it's very new territory for me. I'm not used to seeing this. And yeah, you brought up Jose Ramirez, 60 RBIs, six
Nuts, man.
more ahead of
So
Aaron Judge, who's
crazy,
in
man.
second place.
And also, Aaron Judge
Dude's
has
just
been
been on
hitting
a
the.
tear.
Aaron Judge has been tearing the cover off the ball
Yeah,
since
Aaron
May.
Judge gave everybody basically a month to go ahead and get started while he was injured, and now he has 21 home runs, which is first
Can
in
you
the league
imagine
and second in
if
RBIs.
he was healthy that first month, like what his numbers would be like?
Yeah, we might have another like Roger Maris-ish season, but yes, 293 average for him, 21 home runs, 54
They're gonna say
RBIs,
he's on steroids, by the
1.09.
way. They're gonna for sure say he's on steroids. That's just the way it works now.
Maybe. 1.09 OPS for him as well, but he's hit like this before. We've seen it. It's not too shocking to me to see Judge put up numbers like this. It's just more amazing now because everyone had a month to, like you said, basically get ahead, and he's still ahead. So
yeah, and it's nuts. Also, fun. I will give you a fun stat that the Reds did do. By the way, they have the best record in baseball in the last 12 games. By the way, they're 9-3. The Reds are finally starting to hit a little bit. Fun fact though, they are the first team. I can't remember the exact thing on it, but they're the first team to, I think it's like one hit or allow one run or less or something like that to the Rockies in Coors Field or something like that. It's some weird like run oriented stat that never happens to the Rockies because they're always just scoring runs. I think it was like it was close to being a shutout, and that was a big thing, which I thought was fascinating. So the Reds swept the Rockies, which they should. And De La Cruz is hitting about 240. And yeah, it's rough for the Reds right now. And yet that's crazy part is they're 8 games back in their division, but yet they're only 2 games back of the wild card, which just shows you how bad the NL is this year. Like really bad. Like I think I saw the AL Central has 4 teams over 500, and that's more than the whole NL itself.
There's a lot of teams that just aren't playing up to their potential. Like the Braves, I mean, are still, I think, second in that division, but they aren't playing as good as they could be.
The Cubs Padres struggled.
Padres are struggling. Yeah.
What did you think about the Paul Skeens Ohtani matchup, by the way? That was kind of impressive. And Ohtani took him deep. Ohtani took him deep. Said, welcome to the game.
Welcome to the game, Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, welcome. And yet Paul Skeens still, by the way, is doing phenomenal, by the way. Like he's
very much so,
very good. And Pittsburgh's the perfect place for a guy of his stature, of like his popularity, to go because he's not getting all the off the field attention as much, which I think helps a guy like that who brings so much.
So you'd rather him be there than like New York or Los Angeles or?
I think these, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like guys like this, they tend to, I think, kind of fit into their own, and then of course they can leave and go to these big places, but when they're young and they're inexperienced, it's like I can learn how to play the game, and then all that other off the field stuff can come later.
I see. And then once they learn the game, then they can add in all the
like De La Cruz. I think De La Cruz, like he's learning the game right now. I think he would have struggled with the hype. Like if he was in LA, like the way he is, just personality, it would just that'd be a nightmare, I think, to deal with that.
Yeah, he seems a little more introverted.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got a couple championships coming up. We got some NBA finals starting. I think, is it tonight or tomorrow?
I think it's tonight, I believe.
The 6th is game 1.
All I know is today's the 6th. So tonight starts. So probably like game 1 and maybe game 2. It'll probably just be game 1. They'll be done by the time we let this out. But I guess we can give predictions since it won't like matter after one game. So we can give predictions for the series.
Yeah, we got game 1 tonight. So it starts at Boston. We got Boston as a 6.5 point favorite in this one right now. But it's basically just been 2 different kind of paths to get here. I'd say Celtics have been the dominating force, just tearing up through the Eastern Conference. And the Mavericks, I'm not going to say that it was a particularly difficult road for them to get here because they did win their first series 4-2 over the Clippers. They beat the Thunder 4-2, and then they ended Minnesota 4-1. So a little harder to get there, but they did have to go against some of the better teams out west. But they are here now. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving versus Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And I know one big storyline people will be talking about is Kyrie like returning to Boston and how the fans are gonna receive him. Yeah, Porzingis too, being a former Mav and being over in Boston now. So, I mean, there's some familiar faces here, and I'm sure the fans won't forget or let Kyrie forget how his time in Boston went. But
yeah, it is a fascinating matchup, and also it's kind of cool to see Jason Kidd, who won the only championship for the Mavericks in 2011, and now he's back as head coach, which is a really cool storyline too. If you think about it, like that's a really fascinating storyline. Yeah, I mean the whole Kyrie, I mean, I don't know if you heard Kyrie's comments, like, or LeBron's comments about how he misses playing with Kyrie. I'm like, well, thank you for rubbing it in to all Cleveland fans. I appreciate letting us know how much you regret leaving, pretty much. That's what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, like, look, I think Kyrie had to learn the hard lessons that like I I I think Kyrie is one of the best players in the NBA. Or like he's a very good player. I don't think he's that dude, and I don't want to say that as disrespectful to Kyrie, but we've noticed he's the best when he has a dude that is the star.
Yeah.
Like that's when he's at his best. And it's nothing against Kyrie. I think Kyrie is one of the best point guards out there. Like he can score the ball, he can do some amazing things. I just think that this year has proven, and the year that Cleveland won the championship, is he's at his best when he doesn't have to be the focus, when he can play his game and do what he does. Maybe when Luka's having a bad game, Kyrie can be that person. When LeBron was having an off game, Kyrie could be that person. And I think that's what makes Kyrie so special. And I think Porzingis, in a different sense, is like he doesn't have to be the guy either. And it's like I think for both guys, it's been that way, and it allows them to be more in a natural fit.
Yeah, Kyrie was never going to win a championship as the best player on his team. And I think he learned that in Boston. He even admitted it and talked about calling LeBron and telling him how he underestimated how like difficult this kind of responsibility is. And that's why I think he decided then to go ahead and go the Brooklyn route with Kevin Durant, and now the Dallas route with Luka Doncic. But you're right, he's much better as a 2 instead of a 1 on a team.
And that's no disrespect, because I mean,
and it's fine, yeah. Like
it's
there's only so many guys that are capable of winning a championship as the number 1 guy. Like the NBA's got a lot of good guys, but only a few of them are going to be a guy that you can say, yeah, this guy can lead us to a championship.
Yeah, for sure.
And just to speak about Boston's dominance, Ben, they are winning games this postseason by an average of 10 points.
A lot of dudes have been injured, though.
There's some factors that go into it, but just to speak to Boston's dominance, they lead the playoffs in point differential, win games on average by 10 points. So I don't know where I'm leaning on this one. I do still think regardless, Boston would be in the finals, even if they had to go against all the teams fully stacked on. They might have had to play a little bit more games to get here, but
I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going.
Are you leaning Boston?
No.
Oh, all right. We're gonna defer then here. I'm leaning Boston.
The only reason
I guess we are gonna have to like see some games to find out if it really was all just playing against a weaker Eastern Conference. But I think that Boston has been doing a lot of things right. Like the offense has been efficient. They're shooting 48% from the field, averaging the second most points in postseason per game, and then the point differential, obviously. But then also defensively, they got the third strongest defense this postseason, averaging 101, which is third best, and they're rebounding well, third best, and they got the fourth most blocks. And it's just, I think that, I mean, Dallas is pretty high in a lot of these more so defensive metrics too. So it's going to be interesting to see how these things unfold. But I'm kind of leaning Boston right now. But they're not going to do it in 4 or 5 games. It's going to be, I think, a 6-game series here for them. Plus, it's like Boston's been in like a lot of big playoff situations like this before, and this is still relatively new to Luka. Kyrie obviously is experienced, so maybe that'll be someone that Luka can rely on. But even still, I'm kind of leaning Boston here. I think Jason Tatum's going to go ahead and get his first ring right here after all the criticism he's had to deal with from the NBA media, from maybe the fan base too, to an extent. I like Boston right now. But Dallas, I mean, you got arguments, and I'm ready to hear them.
I think one of the biggest arguments for me is just Luka's playing on another planet right now. I mean, Luka, if you look at the stat leaders for playoffs, he leads everything. Like literally almost every individual stat. I mean, he's pretty much leading it. And to me, it's just the thing about Luka, though, and I will say this about Luka, is he hasn't done this in the NBA, but the dude played professional basketball since he was 14. He's played against grown men. He's played for Real Madrid. He's taken them to the Euro Cup. Like he's done so many things before he got to the NBA. Like I think he's just more mature in that sense. But dude, to me, it's just there's just something about this team, and I don't know what it is, but Luka and Kyrie, they just have this aura, or however you say it, right? Oh, hi, dog. Hi, bud. Hi. She came running in. So I think that for me, that's the biggest thing. And I think their defense has been playing really well. And I guess my biggest thing, Josh, is that I haven't seen the Celtics do against a healthy star. I haven't seen them really do that for a full series, and that's where I'm still hesitant to choose Boston. So I'm going to say slight edge Mavericks right now.
Slight edge Mavericks. So is that a series that's going to go to 7 games then?
I'm going to go.
Or is this going to be a lot of close games, but maybe they do it in 5?
Close games, but I think maybe 6 or 7. I don't know. I'm not going to put exactly. I think it will be a late series, like you said, but I just think that maybe the edge will go to the Mavericks slightly.
All right. Luka winning the Finals MVP, then I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Luka. I mean, unless Kyrie just has this weird series where he just decides to drop like 35 every game, which to be honest wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I'm gonna go Luka MVP for sure.
Kyrie does perform in these situations. I think
it's so weird, dude.
Top
it's so
10
weird.
in the NBA in points per game for the NBA Finals.
Dude, it's so weird because like you just don't think of him as like the guy, but then you think about the game 7 for the Cavs, like he hit the biggest shot of the year.
It just further fuels like our argument that he's much better as a 2.
Yeah, which is just sad, but it's true.
Yeah. All right, yeah. Let us know in the comments, guys, where you're leaning, because I think this is definitely a finals that's worth watching.
It's not one-sided.
Might even tune into a couple games too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's one-sided as we're used to. I don't think it is.
Yeah, no clear winner here. Also, like back to what we talked about previously, like no super teams really.
Oh yeah, which I love.
No one's calling Dallas or Boston a super team. Yeah,
I love it. It makes me happy.
Oh yeah. The other big championship going on starting Saturday with game 1 is Stanley Cup.
With the Blue Jackets, right? Oh wait, no, because they suck.
They do suck. We do have a couple teams with blue in their uniforms competing, though.
Okay, it's a half point.
We got the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers.
Panthers just the weirdest 2 teams, by the way. The weirdest 2 teams to make that. Like, it's just like you would have never thought.
Yeah, not
Oilers,
2 that you would
Panthers.
initially guess. Like, yeah, the Oilers obviously got like the history with the great one, Wayne Gretzky, and they got the best player in all of hockey, Connor McDavid, but they've had to. It's taken them a while to get here to this point. And then on the other side, you got the Florida Panthers, who have been they've had some really strong regular seasons, but it's not always translated to the postseason, right? But they are here now, and I'm interested to see how this is going to go. Like I just said, both teams are kind of new to this scene right now.
Yeah.
Also, the thing that I love talking about when it comes to hockey is that Canada has not won a Stanley Cup since 1993 when the Montreal Canadiens won it. But the Florida Panthers have never won a Stanley Cup ever.
But didn't I also see it's like the farthest distance between 2 teams ever for the Stanley Cup Finals? I think I saw. It's like the
Edmonton out west and Florida.
The farthest. It's the farthest distance ever between 2 teams. I saw it on like.
Wouldn't the furthest possible probably be Florida being like in what city are they in? Are they in Fort Lauderdale or Palm Beach?
They're
somewhere
like
in there.
They're really
South
low,
Florida. And then I think Vancouver's like the furthest northwest you can get, right? That'd be the furthest, but Edmonton's still pretty far out.
Yeah. Which is crazy to me to think about, because it's just like, it's also just funny that the warm weather teams are doing so well in hockey. It's just really funny to me. I just think that's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, last year's champion was Vegas Golden Knights, warm area. Then you had Colorado, which is cold, but Tampa Bay won back-to-back.
Yeah, I know. That's just so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, the warm weather teams are running the show right now out in hockey, but I wanted to bring up I've gotten to see a little bit of Edmonton's games. They've been fun. Game 1 was in double overtime. McDavid made a game-winning goal in that one, and then to get here, they were facing Dallas Stars. That was also a fun series to keep an eye on overall. But last game, Ben, I want to read you some stats just to speak to Edmonton's efficiency in this one, or if you're a Dallas fan, you might point to your team just being a complete failure in this one. But Dallas outshot Edmonton 34-10, had 3 power play opportunities and couldn't capitalize on any of them. Meanwhile, Edmonton has 10 shots all game long. I saw that.
Yeah.
10 shots on goal, 2 power play opportunities, and capitalizes on both, wins this game 2-1. So Dallas had all the defense going for them, really, but Edmonton just made their shots count in that one. And then over on the other end, like I said, you got Florida. They've had to go. They just got past New York Rangers, also a series that ended 4-2. with a 2-1 victory for Florida. But I don't know how much you've been paying attention. I know neither
I
of us are the biggest hockey fans. I think I
no,
follow a little
I
bit more than
followed.
you,
I
but
mean,
what
I
have you picked
followed
up?
along. Like I followed along from a distance. I feel like I'm like the guy that like when it gets interesting, I check it out. Right? Like there's those
Okay,
sports that you check it out.
sure.
All I know is that Connor McDavid is like really freaking good at hockey. Like that's one thing I have found out is he's just really really good. Um, I think it's what's more fascinating to me for I guess for me is just the Oilers seem to have, and I've seen like highlights obviously of some of they just seem their offense seems very like put together. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like I don't mean like
Yeah,
it's not put together. It's
Edmonton's
just
got
very
very
like
electric offense.
smooth. It's
Yeah,
very it's very fluid and it kind of reminds me of like a good football team, right? Like a team that can run the plays. There's no hitch in the game. And I think I've learned in hockey, like if you have an offense that's flowing, like when you shift, when you make the shift changes and stuff, like if it's flowing all the time, it's really hard to beat because you never have like a rough outing because you have the third line in. Look at Ben saying freaking hockey terms. Look at this. Um, but
the
no,
line,
so
the
for
line
me,
in.
I think and I've also realized too in hockey, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like if you have one really really good superstar, it's easier to cover over your bad spots. Does that make sense? Like if you have one really good
Yeah,
guy, some of your weaknesses aren't as shown as easy as a we don't really have a stud, but we're solid. But yeah, you can see our mistakes or whatever, if that makes sense.
yeah. And I mean, I gotta give Edmonton credit. They got a handful of dudes that are helping Connor out here too. I can't even like pronounce all their names. I'm gonna butcher them, but
Eastern European names right now.
here we go.
Oh, this is gonna be
Leon
fun.
Dreisaitl from Germany.
Dressel? I think it's Dressel. Yeah, I believe that one's
Maybe
Julian
it's
Dressel, I think.
Dressel.
Is it
Yeah, I know
Julian
you don't
Dressel?
pronounce all the letters in
Yeah, I
German
think it's
names the
Julian
same.
Dressel, I believe. Because he played
Leon.
for the I think he played for the Pittsburgh Penguins, I believe, previously. I'm not sure on that.
No, he's been a lifer in Edmonton. I
Is
think you're
he?
thinking of somebody
Okay.
else.
Oh, there is another guy
But
named Dressel, but there's a lot of Germans that play, so they could
okay.
just be mixing them up.
Well, here's an easier one. Zach Hyman,
Oh,
and
that's
then
easy.
Ryan Nugent Hopkins. These guys have all been alongside McDavid, contributing to the best power play offense in hockey this postseason, actually. Like you said, the offense is very put together. What's really kept them from this point so far has been defense, and the defense is in a spot now where it's just good enough that it's been able to
The only thing
not screw them over.
the only thing I know about defense is what makes it fun to watch is when they body check people. It's the only
Of
thing I've ever
course.
loved about hockey. That's
Yeah.
that's all I mean, I play
Edmonton's got
NHL.
the fourth highest score or four high scorers in the postseason right now.
I
Go
mean,
ahead and throw that stat out there too.
whenever I played video games, I could care less if I lost 7-2. I want to get in fights. And I feel like that's all I care about when I watch hockey. So it's probably a good thing that I'm not commenting too much on these hockey games because I'd just be like, how many fights were won? That's what matters.
Yeah. So yeah, we got those storylines right there. Edmonton finally getting here.
I'm gonna go Edmonton, by
Canada,
the way. I'm gonna choose Edmonton to win. That's what I'm gonna do.
they're gonna break the Canadian curse, you think?
They're gonna break the Canadian curse because also I'm tired of Florida teams winning. Like I'm just tired of them winning things. Mainly Tampa Bay, but still. It's mainly Tampa Bay and Florida that's winning, like in the
I was gonna
last
say I
6 years.
wish I had a Florida team that I was just tired of seeing win too, but what can you do? Yeah, I think I'm actually going to lean Edmonton here too.
I just think
Um,
McDavid's just good too, though. He's just so good.
that's kind of the other thing is the
Like,
offense
who are
is
you gonna
really good,
stop? How
and
are you
they
gonna
got the
stop him?
best. Yeah, they got the best player on the ice in this one, which, like you said, can really help you out. Florida hasn't had all the postseason
Do
success
they still have
translate, but
Bobrovsky? Do they still have Bobrovsky in goal?
which team?
Play for,
Edmonton?
no. Florida that used to play for the Blue Jackets. Do they still have him? I'm not sure if they
Let
do
me go ahead and check that for you. I can get you some goaltending stats here.
because I
Who's
think if
been doing it
they have
for him?
Bobrovsky. I mean, that was my dude back in the day when he played for the Blue.
Yes,
Yes, Sergei Bobrovsky. Bob, as they called him when he was in Columbus. That's all I remember. He's
Sergei
really good.
Bobrovsky,
He was very
baby.
good in Columbus, and then they traded him for like basically nothing, and it bothered me.
Yeah,
Classic Ohio move right there. Classic Ohio team move.
trade him for nothing. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and like you said, lean Edmonton right here. It's gonna be fun. We'll see if Florida can pull off their first Stanley Cup. We'll see if Edmonton can pull off Canada's first Stanley Cup since '93.
I just think there needs to be an NHL team from Hawaii. I just think that'd be hilarious. Just to get an NHL team in Hawaii. Just imagine.
Trying to imagine it.
Just be so tough. Awkward. Hey, what are you doing in Hawaii? I play hockey. I play ice hockey. That's what
ice hockey.
Get it? Ice hockey. Because there's field hockey, and then there's ice hockey.
Right.
Just saying.
Stupid joke.
Stupid.
Not
joke.
Our best, but
that was a bad one. We don't really have any good ones today.
No good ones. Well, since you don't have any good jokes, we should keep the show rolling. Justin Jefferson had a huge
he's no joke
contract extension after previously requesting to get traded, which I was amused by. And Michigan Twitter took advantage of that moment to say the JJ McCarthy effect.
Oh God, that
that
bothered
Justin
me
wants to stay
so bad. That bothered me so much. I was like, it has nothing to do with him. It has nothing.
I mean, if you offer a wide receiver 4 years, 140 million,
I think it does not matter who quarterback it is.
Quarterback contract, I believe it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'd stay in Minnesota too.
I mean, they're white unis too. It's like they time that perfectly with them white unis. Because them white unis are fire. I don't know if you've seen those white unis. Those things are fire.
They are, and purple's just like such a clean color, like accented
so good,
too.
Dude. Just looks beautiful.
But I just want to throw that out there because it does seem like wide receivers are starting to earn a lot of money.
Where's our money, man? I feel like we should just get a little bit of.
Where's our money? Where's our ad revenue?
Yeah, 134 million.
Yeah, I want to interrupt our podcast.
Hey, Daily Wire. Just saying.
I want to interrupt our podcast with like 7 ads.
Attention! This is footrub.com.
Footrub.com. Use code baseline to save 15% off and get free shipping. Can see it now. Anyway, back to what I was saying, Ben, about sports, since this is a sports show. Justin Jefferson, highest non-quarterback contract, I believe, highest wide receiver contract ever. That puts him in company with Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and AJ Brown, is the only receivers in the NFL currently that are averaging at least $30 million a year.
The question is, though, this is my question, though. I know that the rumor was that the reason they got rid of Kirk Cousins was so they could find the money to get Justin Jefferson to stay. What if McCarthy fails and Darnold fails? Like, what are you doing at that point? Like, that's my question. Like,
did you fail, though, if you let Kirk walk and have the money to pay Justin Jefferson? In that sense, you succeeded.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, though, is if your quarterback just sucks,
you just win 5 games.
I mean, because like this is the point, though, because it's the same thing in Dallas. If you didn't realize, Dallas, dude, by the way, Justin Jefferson just screwed over Dallas, by the way. Because think about it.
CeeDee Lamb's next.
Now CeeDee Lamb wants the most money. Dak Prescott wants the most money for a quarterback. And Parsons wants the most money for an edge rusher. That means you got to pay 3 dudes like $40 million a year.
Yeah.
It's going to be impossible. And it's just, so for me, I just think it's hilarious that like
the Chiefs are kind of in this, or just went through that too with like Travis Kelce, Pat Mahomes, and Chris Jones, I think, all wanting, to get theirs.
The difference, though, is the Cowboys are greedy and the Chiefs will like take a little bit of a pay cut a little bit just to make sure that they're on the roster to win championships.
Or they'll let people like Tyreek Hill walk.
Which, to be honest, it's not really hurt them too much, I think.
No, they've still won 2 Super Bowls without him, right?
Exactly.
And how many has Miami won since they've signed him?
0. I could say that we could also talk about the fact that there was another extension signed, or 2 extensions signed by the Browns. The Browns made some extensions.
Extended, not athletes, but head coach and GM, right?
How do you feel about that, Joe? Because I know there's been a lot of mixed reactions from Browns fans. Personally, I think it was a smart move because this is the most success the Browns have had in the last 4 years than they've had in decades. So I don't know how you feel about it. I mean, I get the Stefanski ones for some people is a little more shaky than Barry, but how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I've complained a lot about Andrew Berry and I've complained a lot about Kevin Stefanski on the show, but the fact still remains that in new Cleveland Browns era, this is the most successful head coach GM duo that we've had in the franchise. And as much as sometimes they do things that make me say like fire these guys, it's like, well, are we going to be able to go out and get anybody that's going to do better for Cleveland? And last season, just with all the injuries and
made the playoffs.
made the playoffs with our fourth quarterback somehow. Just speaks to, I guess, the depth that's on the roster, that some of it has been had to be drafted in later rounds, and you got to credit Barry for being able to find some diamonds in the rough there. Where we're told that Deshaun Watson's going to finally have a healthy
well, that's what we're
full
told.
season this year.
Chubb, I don't know about though. Chubb seems a little iffy on if he's going to be back and ready and healthy, which scares me a little bit.
But I only bring that up because I feel like this is the season that's going to really speak to, like, okay, this is everything the Browns have been working towards and building towards, and we're gonna see it. Like, okay, this is the final exam in a way.
And Joel Bitonio says this could be the final ride. We're not sure. So that's another veteran of the Browns, that this could be the last ride for him, which he's been one of the most stable dudes on that line for a long time. Which is interesting. I mean, the NFL this year, there's a lot of great storylines, and I know we'll touch on more of that as August hits, as training camp hits. We'll obviously touch more on that as the summer goes on. But it is fascinating.
Though. Yeah. Football fans are going to be excited for December.
Oh, dude, December. Oh, I posted that today, and I was like, this is going to make Josh happy. Like,
do all the fans a favor and go ahead and read the schedule that you were showing me, because I only saw it, but I don't remember everything. But we're gonna have a good mix.
Field Yates posted this, and I shared it, and I'll go over the whole NFL and college football, and then I'll specifically go over college football in a second. So this is starting on December 19th. Okay. Browns versus at Bengals, right? At Bengals, December 19th. December 20th and 21st is the college football playoff round 1. Also on the 21st, you have Texans at Chiefs, Steelers at Ravens. Then you have, and on the 22nd, you have 12 NFL games. The 23rd, you have Saints versus Packers. 25th, you have Chiefs at Steelers, Ravens at Texans. 26th, Seahawks at Bears. The 29th, you have 12 NFL games. The 30th, you have Lions at 49ers. The 31st through the 1st, you have the quarterfinals of the college football playoff. The 5th, you have 16 NFL games. The 9th and 10th of January, you have college football semifinals. The 11th through 13th, you have super wild card round for the NFL. Divisional round on the 18th, 19th, and the national championship on the 20th of January for college football. Which
is still on Monday, right?
Yes, it is. That is going to be the wildest month of the 30 days of football that I think we've ever seen. Like, I don't know if we've ever seen like games after games after games. Like, if you love football, those 30 days are going to be like the best 30 days that I think we've seen. And I'll briefly go over the college football playoff. So, like I said, on the 20th and the 21st, there'll be the 4 games. There'll be 4 games of the first round. Then the 31st and then the 1st, there will be the 4 quarterfinals. Those quarterfinals will take place in the Fiesta Bowl, the Peach Bowl, the Rose Bowl, and the All-State Sugar Bowl. Then the semifinals will take place in the Orange Bowl and Cotton Bowl. And then obviously on the 20th, you will have the championship. Josh, how do you feel about that month of stretch from the 19th to the 20th? So December 19th to January 20th. How do you feel about that stretch of football?
Yeah, I mean, we are going to have some regular season NFL there. We're going to have some high profile college football, and some of it's going to be on the same day, which I know Joe Klatt was arguing for. Like, why don't we have like these leagues work together to like try to figure out a schedule where like you can lead in with the NFL into like college football, or vice versa. Even like we don't have to try to like avoid them all, but even still with the extra wild card games that we've been getting the last several years, and now this is going to be the first year of the expanded college football playoff. There's going to be a lot of football around. It's going to be like this every December from here on out.
Yeah.
So as much as Ben and I were against the college football playoff expansion, I think this is one of the few benefits that it'll bring out. For the sport overall.
Yeah.
One of the few. If you're like a glass half full looking for like I guess the positive side of things, this is going to be one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and if you think about it, like, you'll end November with high school state playoffs, some amazing rivalry games. You'll have the bowl season still happening. By the way, we didn't even talk about that, Josh. You'll still have bowl season. So you'll still have bowl games happening before that. Then you have all this month of it's football. This football year, and I've said this to a lot of people, this season of not just the NFL, but specifically college football is something that none of us have ever seen before. Obviously you had like the BCS, it's kind of like the BCS showing up. And then you had obviously the college football playoff back in 2014. And it's like, this is a new iteration of college football leading into the NFL. And to me, I think that just makes it phenomenal. And I think, Josh, you can admit with me, like, even if you don't really like the college football playoff, like we've said, we don't really like how they've handled it a little bit. It's still football, and it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to be able to see these games. And I'm really super excited for sure.
Agreed, man. Anything else on the agenda for our show today? I think we've covered all the bases pretty much. Oh, we did want to mention the Los Angeles Lakers coaching search. JJ Redick has been a name that's been thrown around in discussion, but a new one that the Lakers are apparently targeting is Dan Hurley, who previously said after winning the championship he's not going anywhere, as most national champion coaches say. And I don't know if he's actually entertained any of these or if it's just the Lakers are planning to pursue him.
Yeah.
But money does talk, Ben. I mean, if there's enough.
Supposedly that this is a ramped up thing. So suppose they've already met and this is like a ramped up thing from both parties. What's just confusing to me is, why are you saying that you going after JJ Redick and then you turn around and now, like, it's just confusing to me. I also
just tell him no.
No, he hasn't said anything. That's the thing. It's just kind of weird. And to me, it's like with Hurley, it's like, dude, if you're a UConn player, it's like, dude, coach, you just came out like 2 months ago saying like you want to build a dynasty. And then now money talks. And like, again, if that helps your family, like, all for it. Like, I'm not, like, I don't want to keep someone from that, but it's also like, dude, back up what you say then, that's kind of like my thing.
Yeah. Like, why are you saying all that? Like, this is every coach ever. I'm not going anywhere after they win a national championship.
Yeah. You should be honest. Be like, look, I don't know what's next. Like, I want to be here, but I don't know what's next. You know, like, don't just say like, I'm building a dynasty, because now every player is like, okay, coach, like, let's do this again. Let's three-peat. And now it's going to cause chaos for a lot of things.
UConn fans going to be looking at that Calipari situation like, shoot, man, Kentucky's had so many guys portal out. Some have gone to Arkansas with Calipari over there. But yeah, UConn, I mean, they've been really building something special over there, and you'd hate to see it. Like,
it's better than their football team.
Get ripped up.
It's better than
it is better than the football team.
Really bad. Really bad.
Speaking of UConn too, I was watching them play some college baseball.
I know, which is so weird. I saw that. I was like, UConn. I never would have thought that. To be honest with you, never would have thought UConn would have had a baseball team in the baseball World Series. Who would have thought?
Yeah, good one too.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Beat Oklahoma, I think.
Well, speaking of the baseball, I mean, think about the D3 team. I don't know if you saw that news about the school that shut down, and they
not a real school anymore, but they got a baseball team.
It's like Bishop
D3 College World Series.
It's like Bishop Sycamore from a few years ago in the high school. If you remember that from Ohio. That claimed that they were a top tier school, and they got destroyed
with kids that weren't even high school age.
Exactly. So weird. But no, that is our show for today. Please let us know in the comments, what do you think about the NFL schedule, the college football schedule, like how that kind of ties together? And obviously, like Josh and I said, we'll talk more about football as the summer goes on, and as obviously training camps and stuff start. We'll start talking more football as that time goes. And also, because Coach Ben over here, we have a game this weekend, and we'll be talking about that for sure next week. What happened? Did they come out 5-0? We 4-1. Do we get first round bye? What's going to happen? So we'll talk about that next week. But if you've enjoyed the episode of the podcast, go ahead and click that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell over on YouTube, because, well, you're already on YouTube if you're watching us, our beautiful faces. Then please do. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you give us a rate, because 5 stars equals, I really don't know. I don't know how to finish that line. But I hope
more money.
That is true, because we're rich, and Daily Wire is totally going to buy us one day. But anyways, we're so excited to continue bringing this. Again, we hope you have a fantastic summer weekend that's going to be hot, probably, and raining and all in between, because Ohio and Hungary weather are pretty much the same. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great weekend. And until next time, we'll see ya.